Should we talk a little bit about XL at the end? Right, here's the thing. Let's start with this. So, obviously, I'll rewind it all the way to make a through line. One of the first big XL topics we talked about on this show, Youngbuck, was we were a bit critical of the way that XL brought in Mikyx, because the problem goes like this. The messaging of the whole split was like, we've kept that really exciting combo of jungler and support that you all saw from last split. Let's see what they can do this split out 3 weeks in. Get the fuck out. Like, I know that's not how you guys meant it, but it almost felt like, and we're going to work on building them up. And actually, is Mikyx available? Hey, I'm not going to bother building you up. Actually, see, Adrian, you're off, mate. Like, obviously it wasn't that way, but give us your take on it, because it seemed a bit ruthless,
I think we never said internally or externally that we were building the roster around Marcoon and Advian.
Okay.
Internally, we actually wanted to build a roster around Youngbuck and Marcoon at the end of the season. We wanted to extend them and then try to send extension offers to multiple players after that. But we first wanted to sign those and have them on the roster before we started building further. Because we felt that everyone else really wanted to play with them as a duo. They were a very strong mid-jungle duo last summer and got us a lot of the wins. So that felt a little bit weird. So I don't feel like we were trying to necessarily build up the rookie roster. Maybe the social media team leaned into it, but I don't think that was like ever internally the message. And
fucking Fosty, god damn it.
Yes,
he ruined it.
And the biggest thing is Tim came in halfway through the offseason. Tim Reichert from Schalke came in, and he just had a different vision of a few different things. And when Mickey came available and he saw was going 1-25 in scrims, he pulled the trigger on signing Mikyx. And
1-25, god damn.
Nice.
1-25 in scrims. What the fuck?
It's a record.
That's special. That's special. Fucking hell.
I mean, that would have been better messaging. Like, that legit is just better messaging. Instead of being like, we need the Mikyx winner mentality, it's like, we cannot win a fucking game. Like, we are losing every game. We won 1 out of 25 games this week. Please, anyone join the team. Like,
fair play.
So much better.
Okay, I understand. It was an emergency scenario there. I get that. Okay. And I will say, obviously, the problem with Mikyx as well was this. Because of last year, people were out on him. Obviously, you thought, is he even any good anymore? Listen, it didn't even take him. It took him like a week and he was already fucking popping off in the games. Like, obviously, in the end, now with results, we now know it was a great move. Like, it seemed like it would turn the team around.
I think everyone knew, at least internally, everyone knew it was a great move. It was a sensitive move because Advian wasn't really the main reason why we were losing those scrims either. I think he was like more like a secondary or tertiary problem. So that kind of felt bad internally and also for the players. But, even the players that were friends with Advian and really liked working with him, they were like, it's Mikyx. Yeah, we can't really have any hard feelings towards XL for them signing this player over Advian. There's just, how can you get upset? How can you get upset at XL management? It's just not possible.
I will say as well, by the way, after this split, like if you're Mikyx, you can play League of Legends as long as you want. Because you know how in the NBA they say the last thing to go is like your shot. Like if you have the mechanics of a good jump shot, you can do that if you're 40 years old because you can just stand in the corner, wait till you're open and you get the ball and you shoot, right? In the same sense, if you are a support player who knows what angles to find to engage and could just press the button, you can have a fucking professional League of Legends career for many, many years to come. Because, dude, the amount of teams I look at now that need that, they want that they don't have that. Like, mate, when I watch fucking Vitality the whole time, I'm just like, dude, imagine if they had Mikyx. Holy fuck, these fights would be different. They could win some of these games. Like, I think he's actually been sort of like, because of the bad year in G2, he's been sort of undervalued a bit, mate. It's amazing this guy wasn't on a team.
Yeah, he had a rough year in which I still think he was top 5 easily, and that's in a bad year. And in a good year, it was always, well, who's the best support in Europe? Is it Hylissang or is it Mikyx? Yes. And it was just up for grabs. Whatever split it was a little bit different here and there. Mikyx was such an obvious signing, and he was obviously not going to be bad, and he was obviously going to be a top 3, top 4 support, depending on how the likes of Kaiser and Trimby develop. Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's why people were criticizing the messaging, because like to us, we were saying like, we think Mikyx is a better player than Advian. Like right now, he is just a better support player. But then the messaging was like, he needs the winning mentality. And that kind of sounds like he's going to come in and be like imparting, like be like kind of like a team leader in a way and try to like refocus the team, which is what we were saying was like, not the way that we see Mikyx. Mikyx always seemed like the quiet guy on the team that was like going to just like deliver and just like be really fucking good at his role. So that I think that was the other part of the messaging that we were like criticized. That's why we always joke around the winning mentality, where it's like, I mean, did Advian want to lose? Or
That's where you might be really surprised, because I had a very similar thought of Mikyx, that he was going to be the introverted, quiet guy. He loves his anime. He's a support player, usually very gentle people, and he is gentle, but he is the social bee of the team. He is the extrovert of the team. Yes, exactly. You're like, what? This is not the Mikyx that I know of.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's talking to other teams. He's playing board games, organizing poker nights with teammates, other teams. Going to other houses, partying. He is like kind of like the Joker a bit of the team. Not necessarily Joker, but he is like the social energy of the team. And that winning mentality, I do think it's there, and I think it showed a lot in interviews, because if you're a player in Excel, like let's say you're a Patrick or a Youngbuck, you're kind of getting conditioned to just wanting that fucking 6th place at all costs.
Yeah, of course.
Mickey from the start went out and said, we're going to make top 3. We're a top 3 team. Even shortly before playoffs, out in the interviews, we need to make top 3. We need to be strong for Worlds, etc. These are not messages that other players were carrying, and this is something that Mickey did bring to the team, and he was genuine about it. So, so I think the winning mentality was more of championship qualities, but it turns out that he has this really striving, ambitious mentality still, and he's really instilling that as well into the other players.
That must be a crazy thing. Like, Youngbuck is like, our goal is 6th place, guys. Like, starts the fucking meeting, and Mikyx is like, top 3, or fucking, doesn't matter. Like, Jesus, okay, interesting.
By the way, along those lines, it's obviously a loaded fucking alley-oop of a question, but I'll do it anyway, Youngbuck. You didn't have Mikyx at the beginning of the split, so for you, it's an obvious reason why it's going to be exciting to run back the roster for summer, potentially, right? You get to actually see from the beginning. Because if people don't know, actually, XL was in a little bit of a hole when they signed Mikyx, even in the LEC. So the turnaround, like realistically, if you'd have had Mikyx from the beginning of the split and he could have played like this, you would have been contender with G2 and Misfits for the 3rd or 4th spot, right? You were right there. You were only a couple of games behind.
Yeah, we lost to BDS in the first week, and we lost to Misfits in the second week, and then we lost to Mad Lions in Mickey's first game, where we kind of had a troll draft for Mickey as well. I calculated. And a lot of the Baron throws, but I think that's actually just gameplay mistakes, so I can't say that we deserve to win those games. Okay. So it's like, we can get 11 or 12 wins in a good split. Like, we can get there. So yeah, I am really hyped to run it back. I also felt that just throughout the series against Vitality, I got to know some of the players better in what they can and cannot do, and what they do and do excel at, pun not intended. So I feel like everyone in Excel is also like quite positive going into the summer split, because that 3rd spot is so open for grabs. Is Rogue gonna choke again? Is Fnatic gonna have problems?
I don't think can get it. I think BDS is too rough, but yeah, no.
Good one. Is Fnatic gonna implode? Is G2 gonna be as strong as they were in the last few series? Is the meta gonna be still like not so AD carry focused as it was prior? I think all the top 5 teams actually feel that they have a shot at Worlds, and so do we in Excel.
I mean, I would assume also, like, just the getting the weight off you of like the whole fucking vibe of the org was, well, never made playoffs. Finally making playoffs is probably like free you guys up a little bit to, achieve more than that. It's like you cleared that hurdle. Now you can look at the bigger goals.
Yeah, it's a nice base, 5th place, and now we never go lower than that. And I think we believe that we can do that.
Right. Another thing I also like about doing episodes when the split's over and it's going to be weeks and weeks till we get to the next split, it'll be totally different patches, is you can also ask questions that sort of reveal things about the meta that won't be the meta in summer. So the question I have, one of the last questions about XL is this. What was your thoughts overall on Marcoon in the split, Youngbuck? Because my problem is this. When he was on his champions, looked pretty good. He was one of the better junglers. It looked like he could be pinched in the draft, though.
I think he could. That is one of the things that we really have to take into mind for the next split, and it already started happening during the regular split, and I don't know if it was really like a long-term fix that we had for the playoffs, but at some point, teams are going to ban Xin Zhao or lose the game, and then we would fall back on Lee Sin, and we would probably win the game, but what happens after that was quite the question mark, and that is not a pun intended again. And one thing that I want to see from Mark is that he became really good on Jarvan in practice, but then he had one stage game where he was like, okay, I'm going to play the Jarvan again after losing 3 stage games on it, I believe. He misexecuted a little bit, but he actually showed that he was really improved on it, and he's like, I don't want to play Jarvan anymore, so I want him back on the Jarvan. He played a lot of Volibear last season and was really good on it. This was like our bread and butter mid-jungle Volibear Lucian kind of stuff. We didn't really play much Volibear, or enough Volibear going into the playoffs, so I think there's a few band-aids there, but I think on the long term, he needs to be more confident in his champion pool, because he was actually someone that I considered a hidden MVP for our team. Okay. He's the main shot caller, basically. He shot called most of our wins in the middle of the split. So I felt like he was very underrated for that aspect of gameplay.
By the way, Dom, Taylor's oldest time. The coach wants the jungler to play Jarvan. The jungler knows what the champion Jarvan's like, doesn't want to play him like. The story in League of Legends history before.
I would say you could ask Peter Zhang about this, who was my coach in season 5, but I think he's like in hiding right now. So yeah, I'll just give you my word that this was the current. As the years go on,
Dom, you actually come looking out of that season 5 team looking better and better. Season 4 looking better and better and better. Everyone else is just looking terrible. Piglet, he's just gone off the reservation. Peter Zan, Phoenix, like, you're actually the only one who holds up then. Quaz was mental, apparently. Like, fucking hell, was there anyone in that team? You were probably the same one, and we all thought you were the Rager.
Look, all I'm saying is those videos. I always respected that you had my back, Thorin. You're always the one that would like come out and you would like make the videos that were like, this guy is actually fucking good. So I respect that you had my back. But yeah, I mean, I think the situation speaks for itself. Like, it was fucking rough. There's a reason why I decided to stream a little bit after that season. I had enough of the pro play.
Exactly. And all I'm going to say is, you were like, you know what? Hey, what's your name? Dardock. You have a go. And we also worked out for him, didn't we? So
no, I love that. I said this during Breaking Point. I love that Dardock was really fucking good, because it made me have like zero regrets. I'm like, that season Dardock was like MVP caliber to me. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, even if I played like that, we still would have fucking lost.
Yes.
Like, so, I mean, I think I dipped out at the right time for that organization, for sure.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.